Thank you for joining me. I'm Juan. Today I'm going to be discussing warrior trading and Ross Cameron. This is going to be an honest review, and I'm going to be basing it off of what I call the PACE score system. So PACE is price, application, curriculum, and education. So based off of those criterias, I'll be giving it a fair score. Now, my goal isn't to expose anyone. It's just to give an honest opinion based off of curriculums and courses that I've taken in the past, based off of my experience, and based off what I think will work for most people. And this is just my opinion. Now, I'm not going to make any allegations or try to expose anyone, but if there are lawsuits out or if the feds come and get you,
The name's Bond. James Bond.
like you know who, I'll bring those to light. So let's start off with Ross Cameron. Who is he? Ross Cameron's graduated from Vermont College with a bachelor's of art, started his first investment in 2001 with $1,000, just brought a couple companies, things that he was interested in, didn't see much return. And in 2007, his father passed away and he inherited $100,000. So he immediately invested that with a professional broker. And from 2009 to 2010, he just saw poor returns. He met a friend who traded penny stocks and was profitable. So Ross started to trade penny stocks, started learning, and for 2 years, he lost a lot of money. Like most of us, when we start day trading, we all blow up accounts. But he had that 100,000 and it was down to 25,000. But that also included living expenses. And he also racked up what he says about 30,000 in credit card. So he was really in the hole. He lost 5,000 in one day, was at $20,000 below the PDT rule. Now couldn't day trade frequently like he wanted to. So he sold some items, raised about 25,000, and knew that this was his last shot, that he was at 25,000 and he didn't want to go below that again. So what he said he did, he just kind of like reviewed all his trades for the last 2 years, try to find a pattern. And what he found is that he did really well with the small cap stocks trading between $2 and $10. He started making gains, became consistent. And he said from 2014 to 2016, right after that, he started putting together the warrior trading course. And he started warrior trading. And in 2017, he took the challenge of growing a small account. He started with about $540 or $580 and grew it to $100,000 in 44 days. And then from that 100,000 to 2 years after, grew that 100,000 to $1 million. And from 2020, the last year to this year, he's had major gains. And he's even had one day where he traded and made as much as $100,000 in one day of trading. Well, his account now is a lot larger. There's a lot more volatility. That's kind of the background of Ross Cameron. Now, let's take a look at the curriculum. He has the Warrior Starter and the Warrior Pro. In the Warrior Starter, there's 15 chapters. He gets into becoming a day trader, picking stocks, long versus short, different accounts, just a whole bunch of different topics. I went through each one. I've taken all of these. You know, one of the things they tell you that a lot of this information is free, which it is. If you pretty much look up every one of these items, you can find some sort of free information on YouTube. The problem is when you first start day trading, you really don't know what you're supposed to know. So this is laid out in a way that is going to give you a good foundation. So I do like the course. I do like the curriculum. It will get higher grades because I think it's pretty well put together. It gives you a great foundation. I like the curriculum. I like the starter course. I like all the topics that they're discussing in the course. And then for the Warrior Pro, it gets more into patterns and recognizing patterns and how to trade them, stock selection. It gets into technical long setup, daily setups, just different strategies basically. And then they have a new chapter here. When I took it, they didn't have this. And this is something that they added was interview with all these different traders, creating a trading plan, trader psychology, which is pretty much the most important thing that you're going to need as a day trader. I guarantee you that is going to be top priority that you have to learn to manage and control yourself when day trading. And then they have the large cap day trading course with Mike. I've taken this course. Great information. I think Mike's a great day trader and he trades the large cap stocks. You can learn quite a lot from him. Swing trading. And they also have day trading in an IRA, which he does. He has a separate account and he does day trade his own IRA. And it's basically really kind of like he implements all these strategies, except he uses a different account sometimes. I don't have no problem with the curriculum. I think it's good, well put together. It gets a good score for me. So let's discuss price now. So they have the Warrior Starter, which is the first one that we saw, the usually sells for $1,000. There's always some sort of deal going on with him. So 40% off, $598. I think for the starter program, it's a fair price. I don't think it's too expensive. It can be a little cheaper. I think somewhere in the 300 to 400 would probably be a little bit, so in my opinion, a little bit more fair price, because the starter program is just really basic, simple information. Everything there can be found. It's just here. It's a nice, well put curriculum. They did put some time into it, but I don't think it's outrageous. Now, the Pro program, $6,000, I think it's just way, way too much. I don't think any of these programs should be priced at $6,000, no matter how much information is on there. As taking those courses, even though I like the way they set up their courses, I do feel like they add in just a lot of video time to fill in the space. I don't think that it can be valued this high, $6,000, and even 40% off, $3,500 is still too expensive, unless they're going to add like a permanent mentor where you can have one-on-one sessions, maybe 2 or 3 hours a week. Then something like that would be worth it, because essentially you do need that mentor session. And I know they have like, they do have like mentor classes. So they'll have like a schedule here. They'll have Mindful Monday, Tuesday mentor session. They have a lot of mentor sessions, but there's a lot of people participating, and it's not like customized just for you, but you can ask questions. But I think if you're going to even charge $3,500, I think it should include 1 hour at least of one-on-one mentorship. And I don't know if that's possible, because they have thousands of traders, so that would be thousands of hours. That to me would make this price worth it. Someone who can sit there, review your trades, and then give you personalized feedbacks. So education, I want to discuss Ross Cameron himself as a teacher. I think Ross is open. I think Ross is transparent. You know, here he has his broker statement. He showed everything. He hired independent accountant, and they went through all his tax returns and kind of just openly showed his gains, and his gains are very impressive. He has very impressive gains. He's a successful day trader. So as far as education, I think he's a great teacher. I've talked to him personally, and I've interacted with him. I've watched him for years interact with his students and people that are following him. I've seen him talk to people. So I think he's calm. He has a nice presence to him. Now, the only thing I have as kind of like concern, and just talking to a lot of day traders over the years, people in his own chat room, is that a lot of people lose money. Because I think the problem is, it's like, even if LeBron James taught you to play basketball, you may not play basketball as well as LeBron James. So I think Ross Cameron, I think he's a great day trader, but I do think when you get to his level, like the amounts that he's trading with, you have a security blanket. You know, you're making millions in education program. Some reports show that they have close to 5,000 members, and they've educated thousands and thousands of members. So you're talking about $500,000-$600,000 in monthly fees. That's pretty good amount to fall back on. You know, when you're making that much monthly, you have a different type of confidence where he can take a position and buy 30,000 shares. He can be down $50,000 and be okay with it, then take the next trade and be up 60. But that's not realistic for the average person. They're not going to be able to have those types of ups and downs and stay in the trade, even with a couple thousand shares. You know, if someone is living check to check, and a lot of these guys on the chat room, I've talked to them because some of them have hit me up. They saw I've had some success and I would make some good calls, and they would ask me for some feedback and opinions. I know they would be in credit card debt and be living debt to check to some of the guys check to check. So if they lose a few $100s, that's a lot for them. So they have a different type of mental mindset when they're trading. And that's where the psychology comes in. I think he's a great educator, but I think it's hard to match what he does, and very few will. And that's just my opinion. But I do think you can learn a lot from him, and I do think he teaches very well. And the last category is what I call application. How easy is it to take what he taught you and apply it to actual day trading. I'm 50-50 with it. So I think that he gives you all the tools. Now, you just have to understand that if you take his courses, you have to find what speaks to you. Maybe you just want to trade large caps with Mike because it's slower. Maybe you just find one pattern like the ABCD pattern. You find that you have more success just trading that pattern. Maybe matched it with a few other indicators and you've narrowed it down to a few stocks. And that's how you trade. So you have to find what works for you. I do think that his strategies, the way he trades, he's great at it, but it does have a low, statistically, it does have a low probability of success. That gap and go, that momentum type trading, it's very difficult to trade. The reason, I don't want to say that they're pumping and dumping intentionally, but if you have 5,000 members, and each one of them buys 200, 500, 1,000 shares, the stocks that they're trading, the stocks that come out on their scanners are low float stocks, meaning that these companies only have very limited amount of shares circulating, sometimes less than 10, 5 million shares. So if 5,000 people buy the same stock that has such a low flow, well, it's going to spike. Everybody's going to be making money, see themselves making money going up. He sells 20,000 shares, 15,000 shares. They sell 1,000 shares. And then 20, 30, 40% of the people are going to be losing money. It's a very stressful way for me to trade. Like, I don't like trading like that. Every once in a while, I'll find certain setups that I like as far as momentum. But that's not my style of trading. And really, if you kind of like take all the momentum trades, statistically, it's not the best trade. It doesn't have the highest probability of winning. His style of trading, I think it's difficult to apply. Like I said, if he's like one of the best day traders with his style, it doesn't mean that if he teaches it to you, just like a great basketball player, no matter how good they are, that you're going to be able to play like them. So you have to go in that with that mindset that you're going in there to learn the basics. But, you know, maybe you're not going to trade exactly like him. Maybe you might trade like Mike. Maybe you might just trade a few patterns and match it up with a few indicators and see that, oh, you know what, and that's what I discovered. I found that I only liked a few patterns. I can identify them very well. I'm comfortable with them. And then I added like 3 or 4 indicators. If everything lined up where I had a bunch of my indicators telling me that the momentum's going my way and it's a pattern that I like, so there's kind of like a static and dynamic indicator, right? Because like a lot of these indicators are lagging. So, you know, I like to match them with volume and, you know, not just like a static indicator. And so if everything lines up, then I say, oh, okay, this looks good. And that's yielded me probably a 60 to 75% success rate in my trades. When I get into a trade, if all those things line up, then that's my probability, 60 to 70 something percent, which is excellent. That's it, my opinion. As far as testimonies and feedback, I went through a lot of different testimony, Better Business Bureau, and it's very low, less than 3% of people were complaining and wanted their money back. And that's normal. Lawsuits, I did find an ex-employee for this. He used to trade with him and he accused Ross of violation of California wages and hour laws, wrongful termination, defamation. And this case was pretty much dismissed. This doesn't worry me at all. I read through everything. Then there's another lawsuit where actually Warrior Trading initiated against David Jaffe, which he has the best stock strategy. I've seen this guy before. He's calmed down a lot, but he used to make extremely aggressive videos, pretty much calling every day trader a fake guru. When you make certain accusations, you may be right, you may be wrong, but the burden of proof is upon the person making the accusations. So if you're just making these specific accusations that Warrior Trading is a pump and dump thing, and is this, you may be right, you may be wrong, but you better have some solid proof. And it seemed like it was mostly opinion, and Warrior Trading sued him for slander. So my final score for price, I'm giving it a 6.5. I do think the starter is fair. I think the pro is extremely overpriced. For application, 7.5, because I don't think his strategy, his style of teaching is very easy to imitate. It's easy to apply. It's easy to understand. But I don't think that you're going to be successful as him if you try to apply his strategy. I think you have to find what strategy works for you. And some of the best people that day trade find their own strategies. And then sometimes they only apply it to like 5 or 10 stocks that they become so comfortable with and they become so familiar with that they know the movements and they have extreme success. That might be an even better option. So 7.5 for application. Curriculum, I'm giving it a 9. I think it's very well put together. It looks professional. And for education, I gave it an 8 just because I feel like in some of the, even though the curriculum is excellent, that some of the topics, I feel like there's too many fillers and really, really long videos that aren't necessary. It doesn't really touch on every type of learner. I think they can be a little bit more innovative with all the money they're bringing in. They can be a little bit more innovative in the way they deliver certain topics. And that gives it a grand score total of 7.5. If you have the money, I would say it's worth it if you can afford it. I wouldn't recommend taking out a credit card loan for it. It's not worth, I would avoid that. I would rather you maybe look at the curriculum and then just try to study each topic on your own until, you can find some consistency or find like a cheaper program. But overall, I think Ross Cameron is a great day trader. I think he's a great teacher. And I think they have a great curriculum, a little bit overpriced, but still gets a 7.5. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.